From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, the incredible great news as a deal was reached with Joe Manchin and the Democratic senators after a Zoom chat on Tuesday that signals the recon will pass in January, and it will have the Senate changes in there, with more items added in there than subtracted out, and that there will be at least $15,000 of checks and upwards of $60,000 of checks to the viewers of this channel in this fourth stimulus recon. The biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. We are back on track, folks. The surfboard has now picked up the tow hitch and the tow truck and is surfing us to the finish line. Let's go over third stimulus with now $5,000 and more upwards of $6,000 of checks that people are getting right today. This is Christmas stimulus, your holiday stimulus. This is money in your wallet today. No time or place to wait for fourth stimulus. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details on that. Fifth stimulus, the latest details on that. Plus, I'll be going over what to anticipate with the Federal Reserve in January, as now Omicron has spread dramatically. The 70% of all U.S. cases are Omicron right now, and the situation is impacting businesses across the country. Trade, hospitality, leisure, and even education impacted by the spread of the variant. So what does this mean for our economy and its economic growth in January? And will the Federal Reserve change course? I'll have my analysis of this recording. Plus, I'll give you my analysis of where this recon is going in January and why things change so quickly and how they can stay on track to the finish line. All those incredible details and more as I deliver you all the breaking news direct and from Santa Monica, California. It's a big, bold, beautiful night with just a few days to Christmas, and we have our Christmas gift as the Democratic senators come together and had a kumbaya, but they still could not find my bacon. Other than that, they're totally fine. Yeah, no, Kristen Sinema, she sent it off to Arizona, my bacon. Those details and more as we go into big evenings. LA, excitement starts right in here, right now, and it starts right this moment. Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope you have a beautiful evening. And here we go. That recon is passing. It's passing in January. Came the Democrats to a kumbaya in a Zoom chat on Tuesday. Those Senate changes will be robust, adding more stuff in there than removing things. And there will be at least $15,000 of checks in there, upwards of $60,000. But no time and place to wait for fourth stimulus. What are you waiting for fourth stimulus? You can get third stimulus today. Yes. All that delicious is covered in this recording. Plus, we'll be turning to that student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details on that. Plus, what's going on with this stimulus, your COLA raise. And if someone says something like, my benefits check, my SNAP went down $700 next month, I'm going to explain that situation because I'm seeing some strange comments about it as well. Plus, we'll be going into what to anticipate in the new year, especially January, from the Federal Reserve and my analysis of where that recon is going and not going. Plus, in the final minutes of this video, I'm going to show you how people have now gone from $5,000 to $6,000 for third stimulus, Christmas stimulus. All those details and more coming up in tonight's recording. But first, I want you to subscribe. So go right on this video right now and hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this incredible family. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and become a member to the #1 most watched geopolitical news channel in America, #3 overall financial news. Also like this video and consider becoming a member. Thank you for watching our tester show last night, which aired, and boy, was it a jaw-dropper. A tester of a new overnight live feed show on financial news. Let's go right into that incredible recon. The recon will have a lot of money in there, upwards of about $15,000 of checks, 15, but it'll quickly look like 50,000 because there's a lot more checks on top of that. Incredible, great details. Let's go over each of those incredible checks that pays you out these wads of money. Customer number one has to pay. Got in there. $4,000 of air care. Got in there. $4,000 for the children's care as well. The CTC, $3,600 got it in there. The Pell Grant, $550 check. College students got it in there. The home repairs, if you live in a low-income community, got it in there as well. Then they got in there the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. Wow. The first add-on comes from the illustrious Maxine Waters. She wanted to give you $25,000 for the purchase of a new home. She didn't get $25,000, but she got the provision in there. It's a little bit less, and it's still incredible. Yeah, you heard me right. That is money to buy your first home. Wow. Those incredible details, how you get these incredible sums of money, it's coming up in the second half of this video. 25, she got a little bit less. Let's turn to the second cluster of checks, and it starts right now. Home repairs and paid leave. In that second cluster, we also have universal pre-kindergarten. We also have the household tax credit. But when we talk about the home repairs, we are not talking about nominal home repairs. We're talking about repairing the home so that it's weatherized, which in the case of LALATE and Santa Monica, it's so that you can survive if the surf weather is good, the surf weather is really bad. I know, I've been getting those comments from people saying, you can't appreciate weatherizing your home. You don't do that there. No, we don't. We don't do weatherizing our homes. Unless, you're in front of a gorgeous beach sunset every day, and you have to weatherize against getting, a gorgeous sunset or just a bad sunset. $250 billion of in-home health care for seniors and people with disabilities. Got it in there for via Bob Casey. Third cluster checks. Wow, even more deliciousness. Seniors and free internet. In that third cluster, it really heats up. Free school meals for all checks. Then they got the cheaper prescription medication checks in there. The checks for the farmers in there. Immigration reform removed by the parliamentarian. They got in there the independent contractors money, and then the money for the seniors. 2 provisions on the House added in there, 3 not yet added in on the Senate side. So the House got in there the Medicaid gap fix and also the incredible hearing. But the Senate just vowed to add 3 other provisions. 1, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 50. And then dental and vision as well. Now, that's par for the course of what we're talking with MSC, because guess what? You know something? Have you noticed it? Yeah, I think you have. We haven't heard about senators adding anything to this recon in 2 weeks. Guess why? Because Real Housewives of West Virginia has been running with Joe Manchin as a lead character for the last 2 weeks. And that storyline is about to end. So now the senators vowed to add all those items in there. A lot of people have stuff to add in there. In fact, even the incredible or not so incredible Joe Manchin has something to add in there as well. So when we talk about MSC, what are we talking about? What is this referred to? What is it? MSC is an acronym used on this channel to describe reoccurring monthly stimulus checks, which is what those senators said they would give you back in the month of May and have told viewers ever since then. 2 months ago, the legislation, actually a month ago, the legislation landed in the Senate, and I said to re-advocate, and boy, did you do well. Janet picked up the phone and contacted Chuck Schumer's office and was told it's going in there via Bernie Sanders. Bonnie was told the same thing by Liz Warren's office. Donnie was told the same thing by Ron Wyden's office, and also his wife Sharon heard the same thing. And then Lynn Glenn being told the same thing from Chris Coon's office, and Tyrell being told the same thing from Bob Casey's office. This is no different because by the month of July, thousands of viewers of this channel were told that it's going in there. And we continue to advocate with nearly 8 million phone calls across the board. When they talk about these MSCs, we're referring to multiple IRS stimulus checks where it's sent out by IRS. It differentiates from the rest of the forced stimulus recon because there are multiple checks in there. So who gets it? Single individuals, 75,000 less, gets it. They say they want to do the same as a third stimulus check. 75,000 less, single individual gets it. Married couple, 150,000 less, gets it. Family of 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security Rural Benefits, you get it as well. It's not income, it's not taxable, and it's also not state stimulus. So it's not something that's one state or in a different state. It's for adult dependents and everyone else across the board. That's why it's important for you to advocate for its inclusion, because the tow hitch and the tow truck are right at the edge of the finish line, but they are not over it yet. So you need to advocate across the board. The number one guy in that recon, his chief of staff says advocate until we're law. And we're not law yet. So pick up that phone and advocate. They are now in total between congressional and senators' offices to receive more contact of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. Now they have better understanding of what Americans are going through this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories and the voice of the people across the nation. You, LA, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as a professional voice of the people you have become until this becomes law. And who do you advocate to? Let's look at those 6 people. They are senators, and you want to pick up the phone and contact their chief of staff, their staffers, and speak to them, and at worst, leave a voice message. Advocate for its inclusion. Do not use the word MSC because they won't know what you're talking about. Use simple words. And they are Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Advocate across the board. Again, who are they? They are Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Meantime, advocate for your wallet because guess what? The variant Omicron is now 70% of U.S. population's cases of new COVID, surging dramatically from just 3% last week. It was just Thanksgiving when I detailed the spread of the variant, and now is out of control. And as it's out of control, there may be a rush for people to get any pots of money that are available. And so what you want to do is get the money that's available right now before that rush gets underway. And that is third stimulus, your Christmas stimulus, your holiday stimulus. Viewers have gotten it. And in tonight's recording, you can see how viewers have gotten money and how you can get upwards a little bit more than even that. They're averaging out $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent, 2 utilities, but now I can show you how to get upwards of $6,000. Student loan debt, forget us the latest details on that, plus what's going on with that SNAP benefits and COLA. And for people who are saying their SNAP is going down hundreds of dollars next in January, I'm going to address that situation. Plus, we'll be turning back to that incredible recon. It's going to pass now. What changed? How did it change so quickly? And what will that recon look like when it gets passed? Those Senate changes also detailed in the second half, plus my analysis and commentary and my overview of what I think the Federal Reserve is going to do in January, all those incredible details. As we go into the second half of this video, I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as a big broadcast continues direct from Santa Monica this evening as Evenings LALATE continues in 60 seconds, starting right now. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in the second half of this big Evenings LALATE broadcast. Wow, here we go. That recon is getting passed, and it's getting passed in the month of January. Those incredible checks going to that great con. Great money across the board. I'm going to go over the Senate changes and what they are. Then we'll be turning to the big excitement across the board about frame wars. Don't you miss frame wars? I miss frame wars. No, the programs in that incredible recon, upwards of $15,000 of checks. Then we'll be turning back to third stimulus. No time or place to wait for January. Time to get money right now for third stimulus. We'll be turning to that student loan debt forgiveness. And then addressing COLA raises and your impact on your SNAP benefits. And my analysis of what's going on at the Federal Reserve and in January in view of the spreading of the variant and my take on what's happening with this recon as well. That commentary coming in the final minutes of this video. I'm excited you're here, but first go under this video right now and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Get that incredible newsletter that comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. You don't want to miss any videos across the board or any breaking news, and become a member to the #1 most watched geopolitical news channel in America. Sign up for those LA alerts, which is also free and under this video. And with that, we go into the final minutes of this video, and we'll start with the second half, starting right now with the big commentary you need to know. So here we go with this big recon and the passage in the Senate. What happened? Well, I had told you over many, many months that there's many different versions of Joe Manchin, and different Joe Manchins show up on different days. But I've always told you that he says no, 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 and when he votes yes. It's been a common theme on this channel since mid-2020. Well, there was a Zoom chat I had talked to for all this week that was going to happen on Tuesday. It happened, and today we learned the details of it. A Zoom chat called by Leader Schumer, head of the Senate, asking Democratic senators only to participate and asking Joe Manchin to participate. We did not know if Joe Manchin was going to show up. We did not know what the reaction was going to be. Well, this was all the artfulness of a well-run situation by Chuck Schumer. First of all, it was not antagonistic. It was not accusatory. It was not coming in strong. Rather, it was, here we go. We're going to pass this recon in January. But I want to open the floor first to Joe Manchin to explain his position to us. And what was Joe Manchin's position? His position first was, I've always said I'm going to pass the recon. Except when you said you didn't want to do it on last Sunday. He said, I always want to do this recon, and I still want to do this recon. And I've never said anything otherwise, except when you appeared last Sunday on Fox News. So here was Joe Manchin, number 3. Have you met the 3 different Joe Manchins? Yeah. So the one Joe Manchin last Sunday was the one that said, no, if you bring the recon to the Christmas party, it won't be allowed in. The Joe Manchin on Monday was the second interview where he said, if you show up at the Christmas party with the recon, I'll check it out. And, maybe I'll make a determination on the spot. I like the sweater it's wearing, the Christmas sweater, or I don't. And then I'll decide whether I'm going to let it in. And then the Tuesday Joe Manchin Christmas party invitation, I'll let any for stimulus recon check that shows up walk into the Christmas party. Yes, it's sort of a different version every single day this week. So what he did say and what he didn't say, very, very fascinating. No one could predict this one. I thought he would have said something like, I don't like CTC, child tax credit for this reason. I like paid leave for this reason. No, he basically said, let's just do it all, but I want to add a lot of stuff in there. You're missing a lot of stuff. I'm fine with that, Joe. So long as you don't take out my money, I'm good. So he wanted to add in there more money for corporate taxes, more money to tax billionaires, more money to collect taxes. Thought that there was not a lot, thought that the Trump tax overhaul was horrible, that it needed to be revamped and brought back to more sensibility. And everyone's like, yeah, we like it. Just so long as you don't touch our stuff, we're good with that. So really quite fascinating. And what is the approach? Now, the approach shows you, how I say in the last week, you can't miss a day or recording or a few hours. And I think you've been pretty good on that. I've seen sort of a consistency of the viewership. Let me make very clear to you that I know this is the weekend. I know this is the Christmas holiday, but you can't even disappear this weekend either because the situation is going to be very, very fluid. Let me tell you what's going on. Yesterday, this recording, I said, well, you need to call the vote because if you call the vote, you will tee up to put this on broadcast media. We'll see what's wrong with the recon. We'll fix what's wrong with the recon. And then we can vote. We can change it after the vote, change it before the vote-a-rama, change it during the vote-a-rama. Different date, different approach. Different recording? Yeah, totally different recording. Don't have to do that anymore. So that's what's really surprising. Where'd this come from? Joe Manchin. He said during the meeting, let's just fix things together as a group, and then let's call the vote. Oh, wow. Thank you, Joe Manchin. So how do they get this done? The way they get this done, I'm going to put the commentary in this part of the video right now, is that they really have to sort of shut out the White House, shut out the House of Representatives. Just do it. Democratic senators, don't have anyone else involved in the equation. Don't have White House staffers involved in the equation. Just senators and Chuck Schumer. And it will work. It will work. And that recon will go over the finish line. Let's go over some of those checks right now before I come back into the big commentary later in this video, which shows you really what cannot happen in January. Otherwise, things will go off the rails. Let's go to these incredible checks. Lots of them. And that's before the Senate changes go in there. So they got in there. The incredible paid leave. And surprisingly, I thought Joe Manchin was going to take this out during that meeting. He didn't. Staying in there, $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $35,000 annual salary, that's $800 a week. If you make $14,000 a year, then $400 a week. How many weeks per year? Up to 4 weeks per year. So yeah, this is $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on the high end. All income levels, all W-2s or 1099s. And if you don't work, then the son or daughter who takes you to the doctor once per week, they'll get the check across the board. Then they got in there the big salt cap, raising from $10,000 to $72,500 of what you can deduct in state and local taxes. Incredible across the board. What else is in these initial pages? $40 billion of free job training for millions of Americans to take that higher paying job. They got in there the some of the tax hikes. Immigration reform came out. And then we get the best provision of this recon in there. You know what it is. It's the $150 billion of housing, which involves 3 new provisions, which are home repairs, weatherize your home, and first-time home purchases, and 3 existing provisions that continue from third stimulus. They've already paid out $45,000 at least. They are rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. So here's what you need to know is that no time or place to wait for fourth stimulus to become law. You can get that money from third stimulus right now. So get your pen and paper ready and get your newsletter out in front of you. If you're a member, I'm going to go over all these incredible sums of money. This is what's going on. Viewers on average are averaging out about $5,000 from this in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to show you how to bring it to 6,000 because some viewers are starting to bring it to 6,000. Then, if you got this money, I'm going to show you how to get more of it. Then, I'm going to show you why this is so important. What is it? It's 46 months of rent the viewers are averaging out and 2 utilities. Great. Now, let's take it back to December 2020. December 2020. It was the same situation as now. We were waiting for a recon to pass. It was not passing. And in that time, it was the second stimulus package, which wasn't going to go by recon, but it was called second stimulus package. We had the first, we had used it up, and we were waiting for second, and it wasn't happening. So I said, you need money. It's the holidays. Let me show you how to get money. I showed you how to get that money, and you did. $250,000 I got viewers for rent at the time. I knew how to get people money. I had already gotten them $25 million of EIDL loans. So that money for rent, what was the approach then, and what's still the approach today? The approach is very simple. This is what financial independence starts with. You have your pockets that you're walking around in your jeans. Well, on the pocket number, on the right side pocket, there's a wad of cash. Let's say it's $1,000 to pay the rent for December, which is $1,000. It's to pay the landlord. And you're waiting to give that $1,000 to the landlord to pay the rent for December. Let's say someone walks up and says, no, don't take the money out of the pocket. I'll pay for the rent for you. You can keep that $1,000. Well, suddenly you're keeping $1,000. Then you can spend some of that money on holiday gifts, holiday meals, holiday travel. Pretty simple. Yeah. Then let's say the other side, the other pocket on the other side of the pants has $300 for the gas bill. And someone else walks up and says, don't take it out. I'm going to pay for the gas bill. You keep that money you spend on your family. That's how we do it. And guess what? Let's say you do that for a few months. You don't just do it for December. You do it a lot of months. This is financial independence. And that's what I showed viewers then. When second stimulus became law, when third stimulus became law, I said I can get your average of $15,000. Don't focus on the stimulus check. Focus on the $15,000. And you learned. It took a while, but you did really well. And the viewers cleaned up $45,000 from third stimulus. By the summer, you got another round. But 4 weeks ago, we weren't stupid. We all understood fourth stimulus was not going to pay us a penny in our pocket by Christmas. So you needed money. I showed you how to get the money. It's third stimulus. Back on the recordings. And viewers cleaned up. Average is $5,000, but we've seen $138,000 on the high end. The lowest I think I've seen is $3,000. But now the $5,000 people are really moving to $6,000. How do you get that? It's later in this video. Let's go over the sums of money right now. Get your pen and paper out, and if you're a member, get that newsletter out. We're going to go over this rent, and it's a lot. And if you have a success story, send it to me on private message on social media. I'll be featuring them back on air as the Real Housewives of West Virginia settles down. Let's go over this incredible sums of money for rent. So here we go. The rent is a lot. It is this graphic 3 months ago, but now it is upwards of $40,000 for rent. Wow. So where do you get it from 6 places? City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. Keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There are 3 musts. You must get multiple applications on file. You must reach out to all 6 places, and you must do multiple rounds. Now, what's a round? Round means you got money earlier this year. You can get another round. You can get another pot of money today. Now, let's say you got a round yesterday from one organization for the months of October, November, December. You can turn to another organization and get it tomorrow for January, February, March. That's how we do it. Do the same thing for mortgage assistance. Utilities, same way. Utility assistance because of COVID. Then SNAP, you shouldn't be paying for your own food. If you got on third stimulus check, you should be getting SNAP. And boy, does it pay a lot. Upwards of $25,000 for Mark's brother-in-law per year. He's going to get $250,000 over the next 10 years. Get combo items. And yes, real incredibleness. Started by Nisi and Art Sullivan. They got 3. I keep on telling viewers now to get 3. And here was Mark at the time. He was at 2 items at $32,000. I said, Mark, where's your third? He got his third, brought him to $50,000. Now he's over $100,000. Here's Lorraine. She was at 105, and now she's at 120. I want to tell you Johnny's incredible story. But before I tell you Johnny's story, it's something new today. A real good, tough love moment. New for today, maybe not continued after tomorrow. Here's the tough love moment. Is that I'm so proud of you, what you have achieved as a viewer of this channel in 2021. When I came into the space in 2020, it was a mess. It was a mess by what was caused by other people making recordings. They had told you to sit around and stand by that mailbox on the street and wait for a check to land from Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi. And in that time, you were watching that check land and not cashing checks, tracking only checks. Bad things may have been happening to you. I came in and said, no, that's not how you do life. That's not how you do finances. You cash checks. You try to get as much money wherever it's possible. And I refocused you, showing you how to get big money from third stimulus, and you cleaned up. And the viewers on this channel who got $45,000 from third stimulus earlier this year, they're looking over the people else that are not viewers of this channel who got $1,400 rent through that check in 1 day or 3 days, and then say, I need another check. No, there was a lot of other money in the recon. Go get it. I didn't know about it. This is how you change the equation. Later in this year, when you got another round over the summer, you killed it again. And then 4 weeks ago, I said, hey, for stimulus, you and I know it ain't coming in your wallet by Christmas. Go get it. I prepared you in September how to get Christmas gifts, holiday meals, because I said in September, it's going to run out by October, and you got it. So where are we going into next year? Into next year, we are really in a position in which I believe we have gotten almost 90% of all viewers on point. There's still a 10% or 5% residue here and there of people who want to subscribe to donutry. What is donutry? It describes the behaviors of a donut guy who simply just says, what day is it landing in my mailbox? Let me go look at the mailbox. And trust me, the only thing that will make me really agitated is that if I get a private message, and I have in the last few days, where people say, so it's good that Joe Manchin's on board. So what date is the vote in January, LALATE, for the fourth stimulus recon? Tough love moment. You ain't going to talk that way with me, other viewers, in the live chat, private message to me ever in 2022. You may have tried it in 2020 until I came in and fixed the situation. And we still trying to fix it as we end the year. But 2022, you're not going to talk that way anymore. That is about someone who wants to stand next to that mailbox on the street and wait for that check to land. A person who took 5-10 minutes to write me a private message on Instagram saying, what date is the vote on the recon in January? Let me write it down and pencil it in my calendar because that's the day in which I think I'm going to get some money. No, that viewer is going to be left in 2021. We're not taking that viewer to 2022. That viewer needs to adapt to the new environment, which is cashing checks, not tracking checks. So what I want you to do is get every penny you can from this recon, third stimulus. And we're going to turn to Johnny for that incredible inspirational story. Part one of Johnny's story started on a Monday, when he had $0. By Wednesday, he had $45,000 from 3 programs by making phone calls. By the end of the week, he heard my recordings and saying, do not stop. Now, understand, $45,000 is a lot of money. He could have stopped, but he would not have done what I said, which is get as many pots of money as you can. By the end of the week, he got 80,000. There's a lot of big difference of 80,000. Imagine if I gave you 80,000 today. How long would it last you? Probably last you a couple months. Got himself 80,000. How did he do that? One call, two calls, three calls? No. He got 7 programs approved. So he made 8 calls. No, he had to have made at least 15, maybe 20 calls, because you have a 50% rejection rate. In 2022, I want to leave back that viewer that says, I made 1 call to the city. I spoke to a person. They said they ran out of money. The person has not listened to the videos. The person is either had not listened to the videos or had listened to the videos and just doesn't want to make the effort. And you can't help that person. That person is unhelpable. And then they want to say, can the volunteer go give me some money for it because I made 1 phone call? I got to know. No. Johnny made 15 phone calls. He got 7 no's. You're going to have a 50% rejection rate. You're going to have a 50% rejection rate, but you're also going to have a 50% acceptance rate. That's how you're going to get $80,000. You have to make the phone calls. And the time in which you spend the time writing a private message saying, can the volunteer go give me some money for I made 1 phone call and I'm getting a no. Accept the no. No is good. Means you're doing the right way. Let's turn to the second part of Johnny's incredible story. He reached out to 2 family members and they said, hey, you know what? I got $8,000 last week. From what, LA? From what? LA. Really? For what subject matter? Third stimulus. I never heard about this. Why have I not heard about it? He says, they don't cover it. Let me show you what it is. And he showed them. By the end of the week, they each had $50,000. The landscape right now is that this channel is #1 in the United States for geopolitical news. In this week, you could not see it any clearer than this week. Whether it is broadcast media, the #3 U.S. networks, or this channel, the #1 or the #1 terrestrial cable financial news channel, they're not telling you these checks in this recon. They may mention the CTC for a blink of an eye, and that's it. You don't know what's in the recon because they don't care to cover it. They care to tell you if Tesla stock went down because of something that happened yesterday and a car did this and a video game in the car. That's what they will run. I don't cover that. I don't really care about it. I don't want to even own Tesla stock. So that is why you watch here. Let's turn to third part of Johnny's incredible story. He helped people over the weeks to come. So he sent me a message, said, I've been helping people. I said, how many? He said, 32. I said, my goodness, 32 people? How much money did you get those 32 people? He said, $850,000. $850,000. They were watching these videos, becoming members, becoming subscribers, talking it through with Johnny, going over each of the incredible details. This, my friends, is what you should do as well. So go right on this video right now and consider becoming a member. Get that incredible newsletter right now so you get the incredible information you need to know. Go right in this video right now, become a member. By becoming a member, you get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, approximately via YouTube and the LALATE alert system. It features the 6 places you reach out to, cover this video. The keywords you say, cover this video. But it also covers stuff not featured in this video. The 5 nonprofits. What do the 5 nonprofits help for this third stimulus? What items do they pick up the money for? And what is that nonprofit that helps with home repairs? Meantime, it also covers the important letter from Treasury you want to read before reaching out and getting this money for rent. Consider becoming a member today to get to all this incredible information. And with that, let's go back into that fourth stimulus recon, which we left off at the housing provision. So that housing provision has 3 new parts to it. And what are those 3 new parts? The first part is the home repairs, low-income community, the weatherize your home, all types of homes across the board, and the first-time home purchases is money given from the government to the seller at the time of escrow in your behalf. So what else is in this recon besides that is important? Well, they got in there also the incredible $550 check from my college students. They got in there the big $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, U.S. auto manufactured, electric. The $65 per month for nutrition. And then that brings us to the best provision of this entire recon, which is the cheaper medication. Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, the most expensive medications, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, dramatically discounted from $1,000 a dose for insulin now down to $35 a dose. Starting with 20 medications a year 1 and growing to 30 medications by year 2028 can increase more than the rate of inflation at all. And while this graphic may say something along the lines of $15,000, you clearly see there is a lot more than 15,000 in this recon. You got everything from third stimulus that goes on top of that. That's 45,000. You have everything the senators want to add in there, and they're still not even started adding their stuff in there. Then you have the potential MSCs. There's a lot of money. And before we even get to MSCs, we're over 50,000. What are the other checks in that recon? They got in there the universal pre-kindergarten, the nutrition, and also they got in there the housing and the Pell Grant. Now, what are some of these other incredible checks in this recon? Well, some of these other checks in this recon are the universal pre-kindergarten and the nutrition, the housing, but several provisions will expire. They're going to have to reinstitute them with new language. They are the child tax credit expiring, the earned income tax credit expiring, and the care check expiring as well. But they have to get those redone and put them in there across the board. Let's turn for just a blink of an eye to student loan debt forgiveness and fifth stimulus to know what's going on with those. So there is an offer on the table to do student loan debt forgiveness, to forgive some more student loan debt that has already been forgiven. The president has already forgiven student loan debt for individuals who became disabled after graduation or went to work in the nonprofit sector after graduation. The latest offer would increase that to $10,000 across the board. Very, very helpful. And the Democrats should take it. Then what about the huge COLA raise, 5.9%, the impact on SNAP, and the huge fifth stimulus right behind that? Let's go over those details starting right now. So your benefits are going up 5.9% day one, January 1. Automatically, you don't have to do anything across the board. Good news, right? And this for everyone. Then your SNAP benefits will potentially go down a little bit. Remember, SNAP is based upon your income. Well, COLA is raising your income, your benefits. Benefits or income, 5.9%. Let's say that again. Your benefits are income. COLA is raising them 5.9% in January 1. You don't have to do anything. It's automatic. If your income goes up, your SNAP goes down a little bit. Now, let's be very frank here, is that I'm getting some bizarro messages from viewers saying, my SNAP is going down $300, 25% on January 1 because of COLA. No. I don't know who told you that. Or let's say you did get the letter and then you equated that to COLA. That's totally untrue. If your SNAP is going down astronomical amounts on January 1, it is not because of COLA. So you need to reach out to Department of Agriculture right away. I've seen this message from about 3 viewers. No one's SNAP is going down 25% because COLA went up 5.9%. You can do the math yourself. There's something else that's very important for you to address with Department of Agriculture that's certainly not covered in this recording. Then let's turn to everything you need to know about what's going on with that Federal Reserve and Omicron and where we could be heading thereafter. So here's my analysis of the situation in these final minutes of this video before I get into the commentary about the recon. I believe that in the month of January, the Federal Reserve is going to come in and say, we're going to taper slower because Omicron is far more serious than initially thought. 2 weeks ago, Federal Reserve appeared on Capitol Hill to address 2 subject matters, tapering and interest rate spikes. Well, as interest rate spikes, they said we're not going to address it until we're done with tapering. And what do they say about tapering? We'll do it faster because the economy is too strong. Tapering is removing Fed stimulus, which is buying mortgage-backed interest-based securities. Well, they said we're going to do it faster. But at the time, they said 2 things. 1, Omicron is not a factor at the moment. And number 2, we're going to keep this open. So the situation changes, we will change. Well, Omicron is definitely a different situation now than then. At that point, it was less than 3% of U.S. cases. Last week it was 3%. This week it's over 70%. Next week it will be the dominant situation. We do not know a lot of data yet about Omicron, still believing that Delta is the far more dangerous of the strains. But it is far more the contagious version, Omicron, than anything else. ICU beds at full capacity. There is now new concerns that December 2021 is looking like December 2020. Labor, industry, all being impacted. First, travel and leisure, hospitality, and also education are among the industries that are immediately seeing crunches, meaning shutting down doors, doing limited offices, doing things remotely. Situations are changing across the board. That is why it's important for you to stay on point and understand that the recon may actually be very much needed if the situation becomes as much as what people are predicting. The doctors are basically saying you're not going to see the medical data until January, because people will get sick, contracted by traveling during the holidays or whatever they're doing. Then they'll get sick in early January, they'll become hospitalized, and then if they get very sick, severe cases, we won't see that data till late January, and then guess what? The impact on the industries will be more felt by February. Federal Reserve, I believe they're going to come in January and say, hey, we don't know. We know now Omicron is far worse than we thought it was in December. And we thought it was a non-factor. It's clearly a factor and maybe the factor. So I think we need to ease up on our tapering. It's better to ease up than to speed up. And that's what's important across the board. And with that, let me go into my final commentary of what I believe is happening with this recon right now and where I think things will go and where things shouldn't go. Very, very important. And, not to pat myself on the back, but as someone who makes a lot of recordings and sees a lot of different statements from a lot of different people in DC, I have gotten a sense of what is right and what is wrong. And when I see something wrong, I'll tell you it's wrong, and that needs to be removed from this recon from getting to the finish line. Otherwise, it'll impede it. It'll be a bump in the road, a pothole. Okay, so what works? Chuck Schumer and the senators. Just them doing this and getting it done. This would get done very easily in January if we just have Chuck and his fellow senators. Why? Chuck Schumer knows how to write stuff. Chuck Schumer knows how to negotiate stuff. Chuck Schumer knows how to get people to agree upon stuff. Chuck Schumer is a very pleasant guy. He gets along with a lot of different people. He's worked with these people. This is the people he works with. He's not a House member. He's not a senator. He works with these people daily. So he knows their personalities, their families, and everything like that. And if the language needs fixing, he'll fix the language. Who needs to stay out of the equation? One, all House members need to stay out of the equation right away, especially Pramila Jayapal and Nancy Pelosi. Their opportunities to have their hands on this recon was back in November. It is no longer in the House. It's now in the Senate. What Pramila Jayapal did over the weekend was despicable. It was awful. What she basically did was go after Joe Manchin and basically also say that she said her quote was that no one should negotiate with Joe Manchin. You got to negotiate. You got to negotiate. We're all legislators. Legislating is about negotiating. So she needs to be removed from the equation. Nancy Pelosi, removed from the equation. Her statement was, pass the recon exactly as the House passed it. No, your recon's flawed, Nancy. You actually told the viewers of this channel you were going to put an MSC in there. So why don't you put it in there? So clearly it's flawed. It's not a complete document. And what's in there needs to be fixed. Third, the most important group that needs to stay out of the equation, and you know exactly who I'm going to say, is the White House staff. When you say White House staff, let's make this very clear. There's the president. He's not the staff. There's the cabinet members. They're not the staff. There is the advisors. There are the economic advisors or economic policymakers. They're the staff. And these are people who are not appointed by Congress. These are just people that could be there 1 week and be gone another day if the president doesn't want them. Those people showed up back in the month of October and September to be in Chuck Schumer's office when Nancy Pelosi was voting on the recon and the roads and bridges. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be staying back in D.C. Yeah, I understand you are part of drafting stuff. But if we see there's something wrong with it, we don't want to have you in front of us and say, you wrote this wrong. You need to be gone. Now, why is it more of a presentation or a personality situation? It's a substantive situation. There are people who are in the White House who simply do not have in the staff, who do not have their pens sharpened appropriately. And I did this in the holiday show today. I asked viewers in a live chat, how many of you want to give $60,000 to unborn children over the next 20 years? It was a universal no. It was a universal no, as to be no surprise. No American wants to pay $60,000 to unborn children over the next 20 years and not get a penny themselves. No one wants their taxes to be taxed to pay for that unborn children. And no one wants to do $60,000 for 20 years. That is a universal consensus. I think you would get almost of 90% people on a street corner, let alone in a live chat on LALATE at noontime. And That is what the White House has written. That is what the White House has written. The CTC was an instrument that has been modified and then showcased as something other than what it is. What's going on? The White House originally wanted a 20-year program that would be called the Great Deal, that would mirror the 1920s and 1930s, span multiple generations. This is not my interpretation. This is their actual words. Generation, permanent, lifetime. These are the words they used to describe what they were doing. People came in and said, 20 years? How much is it going to cost? 7 trillion. We're not doing 7 trillion. Then they said, okay, we'll do 10 years. 10 years, how much is it going to cost? 3 trillion. We're not doing 3 trillion. Okay, we'll do 1 year, 1.75. Okay, I'll do 1 year, 1.75, 1.9, whatever. They look at the document and then realize, wait, this is still 20 years. Who said you reduced it to 1 year? This is 20 years. And it ain't 1.9. It's 20 million, 20 trillion, 30 trillion. It's a lot of money. I said it, press said it, Joe Manchin said it, Mitch McConnell said it, and the Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan organization, said, this is tricky language. You've written language that says something other than what it does. And that group needs to stay out of the equation. They need to stay far, far away because they have messed up stuff for months. And when that happens, that means that when you catch them in the mess up, because I've been featuring this subject matter of that mess for months and it's not fixed, they don't want to fix it. Sound familiar? It does. In 2020, one of the topics of this channel for months was that Nancy Pelosi's stubbornness about doing $300 billion for state and local under the second stimulus because California was going bankrupt, New York was going bankrupt, running out of money, had no money, and we had to do it. Otherwise, the two states would default on all their mortgages and loans. And she said no to the second stimulus package for months because of that. And ultimately, it didn't get done. And then Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, came out and said, hi, we have the biggest surplus of money we've ever had in the state of California. Extra cash we did not expect. When people are told things are wrong, as Steve Mnuchin told her 1,000 times, it's wrong, she didn't want to move. And in the case of the White House interfering with the language, their staffers need to stay out. They are not the president. They're not cabinet members. They're economic advisors who they got it wrong. I mean, they have it wrong and they continue to have it wrong. Good news is that no one in the Senate group is subscribing to that logic. No one in the Senate group wants to give $60,000 a check. And the senators work. They got it. They know how to do it. They're senators. It's sort of like a peanut gallery. It's sort of like a peanut gallery. The staffers coming in and just sort of interfering from the external wings and say, let me call up 20 senators and interfere with the situation. No, stay aside. Let Chuck Schumer do what he does. And I mean everything. The language, the writing, the voting, the dates, the negotiations. Leave it to the senators. And that involves also everyone else saying, not going on Twitter saying, I'm urging the senators to do this. Just stay out of the equation. Let them do it. You notice how little you know about this Zoom chat? It's good. I didn't want the Zoom chat to be, to have 5,000 sources close to the Zoom chat. They kept it quiet. They figured it out. They knew that what happened this last week made their organization, their cluster, their caucus, Senate Democrats, look like a mess. And they had to reconvene and come out like a working team. It sort of looks like, like a pop singer group. And there's one pop singer says, I'm going to break out and be a solo artist. And it's like, wait a second, you didn't tell any of us about it. And he says, well, okay, all right. I just didn't like you weren't featuring me in enough songs. Okay, all right, we're fine. We're back together. We're still as a team. And that's why I'm very excited for you. Now, what is my focus for you going forward? My focus for you going forward is getting 2 other sums of money for this third stimulus. Get that big money for those extra rounds. Get that big money for that extra utility. If you got 2 utilities, go get that third or fourth. Make sure with a pen and paper you've gotten every item you've gotten for third stimulus. I would love to get more questions from people in private message of, LALATE, I got an electric from October, November, December. Can I get electric for this? I'd love to get those type of messages on private messaging versus what day are they voting in January on the fourth stimulus recall? Those people that sort of do that are going to be left behind the equation. It's a great week, and the excitement will continue. Chuck Schumer gave us a Christmas gift, and his Christmas gift was that he brought us all back on track. And the tow truck and the tow hitch right at the edge of the finish line. I'm flying to DC. I'm putting the surfboard under the tow truck and tow hitch and surfing it all over the finish line. I'm bringing in the surfboard. It'll have the lights on it. There'll be other provisions that could be added in there. We'll put those on the zucchini boat. We'll put them on the watermelon boat if you watch Holidays LA today, and they'll go over the finish line as well. We're gonna have a great week, and we're gonna have a great weekend, and we're gonna have a great night. The programming continues next with Evening's Countdown coming up right after this video. If you're watching this new at 5 o'clock, otherwise Evenings LA brand new every night at 5 o'clock. Then Evening's Countdown 6 o'clock. Holiday Stream Stimulus at 7. This first half is about stimulus. The second half is about holidays. And now the breakaway new hit show, Evenings Extra at 8 o'clock. Meantime, depending on the night that you watch this, you will be either watching the new test show called Overnights, the new test show called LA Late Live, or the preeminent Overnight Crypto. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. Record hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Have a beautiful evening. Have a beautiful day. Stay informed, stay focused. Keep on smiling. Get every penny you can get from third stimulus right now. Get it because you want to get it before funds dwindle. Stay with LA for more.